When you first start a new database, there are no tables and fields set up, so you have to create them. So we go to Admin and choose Database Setup, add a new table. For this example, I'm going to create a fairly simple structure of company contacts and the people that work at them. In other words, companies and the contacts that work there. So our first table is going to be called Company. And now CatBase wants to know what our key field is going to be called. So the key field is the main identifier for each record. So that could be a product name, a person's last name, or in this case a company name. So we'll call that field company name. Alright, there's our new table. Now you can see that CatBase has created quite a few fields that we didn't tell it to. These are all the system fields that it maintains in order to manage the database. So all the ones in yellow are the CatBase system fields. You can change the names of these if you want to, but you mustn't change their purpose. And then the one in green is your key field, company name. Now that we've got one table set up, we need to add some more fields to it. Not much use having just the company name, so let's add a new field. So here's a field properties dialog, and let's take a look at this. We've got a choice of field types. The default that CatBase always selects for a new field is string, and a string is a type of field that can hold alphanumeric data, and it's limited to 255 characters. So let's look at the other types of fields. We've got a boolean, which is a yes, no, or a true or false type of field. Date, which is obviously a date. Integer, which is a whole number with no decimal digits. A real number, which is a number with decimals. String, we just looked at. Text is an text field of unlimited size, so you would typically choose a text field for things like product descriptions and that kind of thing. And finally, time is obviously for keeping time data. Now it's important to choose the right type of field because this will affect your options for formatting the data and also, more importantly probably, how you search and sort it. For example, if you put dates into a field that isn't a date field, you'll never be able to do searches like show me all the records that were modified since January the 1st of this year, because the date field will not be in the right format to accomplish that kind of search. So at the moment we're going to add some address fields. So let's have we'll choose string, and we'll have address line, and then we're going to have city, and I'm going to have a county. So now let's look at another option here. We can have choice lists. So I'm going to create a new choice list and call it counties. The reason for having choice lists is to ensure that all your data is entered consistently when that's appropriate. For example, counties must always be spelt the same. So by creating a choice list, you can add the county names to the list, and then when people are doing data entry, they choose something from that list rather than just typing in something randomly. And let's just have one more field. We'll call it phone number. And I'm going to limit the size of that field to, let's say, 40 characters. So now you won't be able to enter more than 40 characters into the phone number field. Another important feature that we probably should look at now is the indexed option. So by default, your key field is always indexed and you cannot change it. It must be indexed. So what does that mean? It means that anytime you search or sort on that field, it's going to be a lot faster. Particularly, this will be important if you've got a lot of data in your table. If you're searching on fields that are not indexed, it can take a while to find them, and we always want it to be nice and fast. Now, CatBase is a relational database, and this means that you can have data in one table related to data in another table. In our example here, we've got a table called company, and we're going to have another table called contacts. The idea is that each company can have any number of contacts belonging to it. If we just had what we call a flat database, you would just have in the company table contact name 1, contact name 2, and so on, which may be okay for some purposes, but it's going to limit you because you can only ever have the number of contacts that are created as fields. Whereas if we have a relational system, we can have any number of contact records related to the company record. So let's create the contact table. So we'll say add a new table. Yep, let's save those changes and we'll call this contacts. Our key field this time is going to be the last name. Okay, so we've now got two tables and here's our contacts table. Let's just add a few more fields. Let's have a first name. Doesn't need to be 255 characters long, so let's make it I don't know, 40. You never know. And let's have a date of birth, for which we're going to choose a date field. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. So now we've got our two tables set up, and we just need to tell CatBase how those two tables are related together. So we go to Manage Relations. Now here are our tables on the right here, so we'll drag company over, drop it there, and drag contacts over and drop it there. And now to create the relationship between the two tables, we simply drag contacts, drop it on top of company, and the relation has been created. And if we double click on this relation arrow, we can see the options. It says, so the parent table is company and the child table is contacts. So one parent can have any number of children. Now here are some other options. We've got many to many or many to one. In a case like this, we probably would stick with a many to one relationship because each contact would probably only belong to one company. But there may be situations, let's say for example in a parts catalogue. One part might be used in many different products, so the relationship is a many to many relationship. Each product can belong to many parts, and each part can belong to many products, and each product can have many parts. We've also got this other option here, a parent record is required. So if this option is checked, I wouldn't be able to create a contact record and save it unless it was related to a company, which is what we want in this case, so I'm going to leave the options as they are. So there we go, we've now got our two tables, company and contacts, and they're related together. So there we go, we've got our basic structure set up with two tables, company and contacts. They're related together, and there's only one thing more we need to do before we can start actually entering data, and that is set up our data entry screen. And for that we use the form design wizard, which is described in the next video.